What's going on, folks? So, welcome to Dotty Raids. You're not doing the fusion. So what are you going to do? You could go outside, touch some grass, enjoy life. That's certainly not a bad option at all. But here is a couple of options in-game that I'm going to talk you through over the next few minutes. So I'll keep it as quick as possible. Just a few options there that we can look at. First thing that comes to mind for me, if you are not doing the fusion, save your shards and your gems. Build up these. There's a great progressive on at the moment. Some nice champions, including Wukong and Harima. And then for the voids, we have Shuzen and Yumeko. You're not guaranteed to hit any of those at all. So save up your shards, either for the next fusion or for a guaranteed event, or what is coming up close now, or we think is coming up close, will be the guaranteed Freya Deck of Fate. So save up your Ancient Sacreds, Primals, Voids, all of that, and your Soul Stones and all of that stuff as well. You want to build up all of this stuff so you can guarantee yourself a good shot at getting some guaranteed stuff rather than relying on the whims of fate and using those stuff. So that's my first thing that I would recommend everybody do if they're not going to do the fusion for Jeroboam or any fusion. If you're taking any fusion off, these are a couple of things you can do. The other thing then, upgrade your gear. So Sand Devil and Phantom Shogun. I know a lot of people hate these. They're way more accessible now, and they are vital to improving your overall account. Getting this stuff and getting them in as much as possible is going to make a huge difference to your teams, their survivability, what you can do in the game, where you can survive, where you can solo farm, and just the knock-on effects of having some of this stuff and being able to go through all your gear and just throw one level into it and then level up the ones you want and re-roll those that you don't want is so handy. It's just not to be overrated as well, and it directly upgrades all of your champions because you can use that gear everywhere. Maybe not with Phantom Shogun stuff, but I would still not overlook Phantom Shogun's Grove. It's so much easier to run at the moment. Coupled with that, Sand Devil also has a tournament running at the moment, and that is a turn attack tournament. So higher levels get more points, but do the one that you can do the fastest that will yield you the most points. So if you can do 25, but it takes you 200 turns, don't do 25 if you can do 20, and it'll do less turns and give you more points. Now, the return on this, there's a few things to pick up here, which will tie in nicely. So some shards, or rather gems or soul stones or whatever you call them, and then something for the Prism event that's on at the moment as well. So you can double up there. That would be a nice little thing to do at the moment to get stuff for this summon pool, which is quite nice, but it's not a necessary thing to go for. Remember, there's a lot of Legos in there and a lot of epics as well, and the odds aren't necessarily great of you getting something account changing. However, if you're going to do Sand Devil anyway, you might as well double dip and get stuff for that. Now, speaking of currently running as well, we also have the Odin event dungeon. So if you can run this, I think the best kind of levels to run are 20, 24 is really good for getting accessories, and then of course 30 should be the best for level and quality of gear overall. When I farm this, I have my filter set to sell everything except pinpoint, and I just take all of the pinpoint stuff. Pinpoint is incredibly good at the moment. It's very, very important that you get pinpoint gear, because it's really strong for debuffers in your team and can make a big difference to the success of your arena and siege teams in both offense and defense. Being able to place bombs or HP burn or remove debuffs and place CC without getting controlled yourself is huge, so don't overlook it. And if you aren't doing the fusion, get stuck in there. It is slowly changing the meta, maybe not so slowly, changing the meta back to a place where debuffers and control champs have a far greater effect in the game. Okay, so that is the Odin event dungeon. We've spoken a bit about a couple of ways to upgrade your gear, farming there, farming Shogun and stuff like that. Now I want to talk about upgrading your champions. So Minotaur. We need to get stuck into Minotaur, and it's very hard to find the time and the energy, both in real life and in the game, to get stuck into Minotaur, I think. So for instance, let's switch over here to Hell Hades Artifact Optimizer. Okay, so let's have a look at this now, and I'll give you an example of why I personally will be doing a lot of Minotaur over the next while. So I have 488 champions, you can see up here. So let me remove duplicates. Okay, so 336 champions, right? If I look at masteries, and of my 488 or 336 champions, no masteries, I have 182 champions that have no masteries. Now, obviously, within that are some that are food, that are 1 and 2 stars or whatever, if I hadn't cleaned them out. So let's look at rank, and let's look at 6-star only. So these are champions that are up to 6-star already. Yeah, they're up to 6-star already. I was looking for an apply button, but it does it automatically. And we're now looking at 51 champions. One of them is Mikage, who has a 3-star blessing. Alil has a 5-star blessing. I quite like Alil, by the way. I haven't built out. I have him with 302 crit damage, and he's not fully crit capped because I haven't run Minotaur with him at all. He has no blessings. So there's fantastic opportunities. There's 51 opportunities for me to level up 6 stars and make them way more effective. We have Wixwell there with a big blessing. We'll have Loki there with a big blessing. We'll have Thor further down there with a big blessing. And they're not masteried up, and not maybe fully leveled up as well. So there's a huge opportunity there for me to increase the effectiveness of my champions and my teams if I go through and farm all of that. So that's one more thing that we can be using our energy on while we are not doing the fusion. But yeah, that's crazy. I actually didn't realize I had so many champions there. So 51 6 stars. That's that's not good. So again, looking at champions, books, and I know you're thinking like, hey man, no, you can't farm books. I know this. However, there are opportunities to get books in game. Let's see if there are any here at the moment. This is going to make a liar out of me, watch. Yeah, there's none live at the moment, by the looks of it. But we do have books as prizes in... There's an epic book in Dungeon Divers. So we do have the opportunity to get books in events and stuff like that. So events, tournaments, what have you. Keep an eye on those, because if you're not doing the fusion, you have access to way more energy than you normally would. So you can afford to push further in a specific tournament or event or whatever than you normally would, and get some legendary books or epic books at the moment. Like, let's have a look at me. I've used all of my epic books in the last CVC. I kept my Legos because I was having a bit of a brain fart, to be honest, and I just wasn't sure where I wanted to use my books. I can use them in Thor or Alil, or Mikage needs one more mythical book. But But there's a whole host of people there, and I just had a bit of analysis paralysis at the time. So that's something else to look out for. Farm up your books. There are some will become available in the events and tournaments and stuff like that. And if you are prepared and waiting for them, you can go on push and get them. And, you know, it has a massive knock-on effect on your accounts, when, especially if you're using champions that go from a 75% chance to place debuffs or crowd control or CC, or you get that cooldown reduced that you only have to wait 2 turns or 3 turns instead of 4 or 5. So again, that's very important. Keep an eye out for those. And then finally, your missions. So Arbiter, I have done. Ramantu, I'm nearly done. So I have this 12 secret rooms. I have Gomlock already. And I have the affinity bonuses for Arena. Now, obviously, you can see I'm a little bit away from getting the affinity bonuses done, but I am doing a lot more Arena at the moment, so I will pick that up quite soon, hopefully. And not only that, but doing this will also help improve my account overall greatly as well. And that'll net me Ramantu down at the end. And then in the Marius missions, Iron Twins. So that's another place that I actually didn't have on my list. Make sure you're doing your Iron Twins daily to build up your souls, your soul stones and stuff like that. So I'll be focusing on the Marius missions and working through them. As you can see, I'm on the last phase, but I still have, 47 missions to go to get Mr. de Gallant here. And I really want them, so I'm going to be focusing on getting through them over the next month, because we have 2 weeks of Fusion, and then we likely have 2 weeks of a Titan event of some variety, and then the next Fusion. So we likely have in around a month, 3 weeks to a month to use without having to worry about stuff going on in the game, unless we opt in to do it. So remember, guys, these are not things that you should do all of these. Treat this like a buffet. Take what you want. Don't put too much on your plate. And that's the options. That's my options there for improving your account in a down month. It also takes way less headspace if you're just saying, no, I'm minotauring all my champions, or no, I'm farming Sand Devil for the month. You can go in, set it and forget it, and don't worry about those things. For me, I'll be focusing mainly on the Marius missions. Then I'll be looking at specific champions in Minotaur, I think. And every second day, maybe I'll probably alternate back and forth between the event dungeon, so Odin, and then Minotaur. So once I have farmed up, I think I'll do certain key champions in Minotaur. I'll get them done and out of the way, and then probably what I'll do is I'll focus on the Marius missions and flip back and forth day on day between Sand Devil and Odin to get that pinpoint gear, and then to be able to make that gear as powerful as possible. So those are my suggestions, guys. Let me know if you think I missed anything out. Let me know what you're going to do. If there's anything else there. Another thing that you could do would be farm Spider and build up your silver that way. But I would suggest, if you're going to do that, if your earlier game, farm Spider up as high as you possibly can, and make sure you're getting your speed banners out and selling whatever other crap. But this is just a huge opportunity to go on a farming spree with free energy, and just, not have to worry about check boxes for fusions and stuff like that if you're not doing it. So that's my advice, guys. Let me know what you're going to do or what I missed out on. And like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the very next one. Take care. Bye-bye.